Hi, this is Daniel from New Jersey, and I'd like to give a quick idea about this week's Parasha. In Parashat Vayelekh, we read about the mitzvah of Hakel, in which the entire people, men, women, and children alike, gather at the Bet Midrash on Sukkot in the year following the Shemitah year to hear the Torah read. The reason for this ceremony is given as follows: "L'ma'an yishmeru, l'ma'an yilmedu, v'yar'u et Hashem Elokechem, v'shamru la'asot et kol divrei haTorah hazot." That the people should hear and learn and fear Hashem and keep the entirety of the Torah. While this is a pretty straightforward rationale, there's a key mechanical element missing from the Torah's description of this mitzvah, which is who is responsible for reading the Torah. The answer the Chachamim arrive at is that this responsibility falls on the shoulders of the king. On a basic practical level, this makes sense, as the king is the face of the nation and therefore should be the one conducting a national ceremony. And even on a more particular level of halakha, that the king is the one who writes his own Sefer Torah, so it stands to reason that he should have an opportunity to formally read from it as well. In light of this, the Mishnah Masechet Sotah recounts an incident where Agrippas, then king of Judea, was reading from the Torah during Hakel, and he arrived at the verse which prohibits a foreigner from assuming the office of monarch. The issue was that Agrippas himself was of Idumean descent, and as he read those words, he broke down crying on the spot. The Chachamim reassured him that, there was nothing to worry about, that he was one of them, he was their brother. But that doesn't discount the fact that Agrippas had such a open, emotional outburst in the most public setting imaginable. While the straightforward and uncharitable way to view Agrippas's breakdown during Hakel would be to say that he was lamenting the fact that he might be in a position where he would lose his own power. But I think it's a little deeper and more sophisticated than that. If anything, Agrippas was crying over the contradiction between the words of the law that he himself believed he was bound to and his own reality as king. And that contradiction in that very moment was too apparent and too heavy to bear. So what is it exactly that we can learn from this particular incident? We can take the holistic approach to the law that Hakel asks us to, and to not view mitzvot in terms of whether it's something that affects me personally, or if it's something that only applies on the national level, or on a national level only in circumstances X, Y, and Z, but rather to treat all those elements as one and the same, that the personal is part of the national fabric, that what applies to the entirety of the nation defines your day-to-day life, that these distinctions are all found under the auspices of the law, under the auspices of halakha, and that we should continue to take the reasons behind Hakel to heart, to lishmoa, ulilmod, to listen and to learn, to further our growth as individuals, as part of a nation, but also as a nation comprised of individuals, all bound by the same law. Shabbat Shalom.